Textured Art Secrets, presented by Sandra Tingley. This week is about Cubism and textured art. Cubism is a style of art that emerged in the early 20th century, pioneered by artists such as Pablo Picasso and George Braque. It is characterized by the use of geometric shapes, multiple perspectives, and the fragmentation of forms. The technique often involves creating collage by cutting up and reassembling different pieces of paper or other materials and incorporating various textures and patterns. Texture art, on the other hand, focuses on the use of texture as a primary element of the artwork. This can be achieved through the use of various materials and techniques, such as applying thick layers of paint, using impasto or palette knife techniques, or incorporating other materials such as sand, glass, or fabric into the artwork. While Cubism and texture art are not necessarily the same thing, they can be used together to create interesting and dynamic artworks that incorporate both the principles of Cubism and the textile qualities of textured art. For example, a Cubist artist may incorporate different textures and patterns in its various fragmented pieces, creating a multi-layered and visually dynamic artworks. An artist can combine the Cubism techniques with textured art by incorporating various materials and techniques to create different textures on their canvas. For example, they can use a palette knife to create thick layers of paint, use sand or other materials to create a gritty texture, or even use collage to add depth and dimension to the piece. They can also experiment with different brush strokes, layering techniques, and colors to create a range of textures and patterns. The Cubist style lends itself well to experimentation with texture, as it is already characterized by fragmented geometric shapes and abstracted forms. By adding texture, the artist can further enhance the visual interest and complexity of their work, creating a dynamic and engaging piece of art. One example of an artist who combines Cubism technique and texture art is George Braque. Braque was a pioneer of Cubism along with Pablo Picasso, and his early works often featured the fractured paints and geometric shapes associated with the movement. However, he later developed a technique called the papier-collé, in which he incorporated various materials such as newspaper, wallpaper, and other found objects into his artwork to create the textured surfaces. Another example is Juan Gris, who was also a member of the Cubist movement. Gris' artwork often featured layered planes of color and shapes, which he then overlaid with intricate patterns and textures such as wood grain or cross hatchings. His use of texture added depth and complexity to his works and helped to create a sense of visual interest and movement. Texture Art Secrets, presented by Sandra Tingley. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next sharing.